Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal? It is a unique and deeply personal pain, a wound inflicted not by an enemy, but by someone you trusted. This is a story as old as time itself, etched into the pages of history. We see it most profoundly in a quiet garden, late at night. There, under the soft glow of the moon, Jesus waited. He knew what was coming. He knew the heart of the one who would betray him. And yet, he waited. The betrayal came not with a sword or a shout, but with a simple, common gesture of friendship. It came with a kiss. The man was Judas, a friend, a follower. One of the 12 who had walked with Jesus, listened to his teachings, and shared meals with him. Judas led the soldiers into the Garden of Gethsemane. He approached the Son of God, the one he had called Master, and with the word, "Greetings, Rabbi," he leaned in and kissed him. This was the signal. This was the sign that identified Jesus to his captors. A kiss, meant to be a symbol of love and affection, was twisted into an instrument of profound betrayal. It was a moment that would echo through eternity, a painful reminder of how deeply a trusted friend can wound us. Imagine the scene for a moment. The air is cool and still. The disciples are sleepy, unaware of the gravity of the hour. Then the sound of marching feet and the glint of torches break the peace. At the front is a familiar face, a man who had been part of their inner circle. The shock must have been immense. Why would he do this? What could possibly lead a friend to hand over someone so pure and loving to those who wished him harm? The kiss was not just a signal, it was a final, heartbreaking act that sealed a terrible choice, a choice that traded loyalty for a handful of silver coins. This ancient story is not just about a historical event that happened thousands of years ago. It is a story about the human heart. It is about our hearts. It speaks to the pain we feel when someone we have let into our world turns against us. It is the story of a promise broken, of trust shattered into a million pieces. The pain of Judas's kiss is the pain of every person who has ever been let down by a friend, a coworker, or a loved one. It is a universal sorrow. But it is also the beginning of a much bigger story, a story of hope and redemption that shows us even the deepest wounds can lead to something beautiful. Betrayal is a deeply personal form of hurt. It slices deeper than a simple disagreement or a misunderstanding. Why does it hurt so much? Because betrayal is a violation of trust, and trust is the very foundation upon which we build our most meaningful relationships. When we trust someone, we are giving them a piece of our vulnerability. We are saying, "I believe you will protect this part of me. I believe you have my best interests at heart." So when that trust is broken, it feels as though a part of our own soul has been mishandled and discarded. It is a profound rejection of the faith we placed in another human being. This pain is not just an emotional one, it can feel physical. It can manifest as a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or sleepless nights spent replaying the moment of betrayal over and over in your mind. You question everything, you question your judgment. How could I have been so blind, you might ask yourself? Were all the good times a lie? These questions are the aftershocks of the earthquake that has just shaken your world. The trust that once felt like solid ground now feels like shifting sand, and it is difficult to know where to step next without falling. The story of Judas is powerful because it illustrates this pain so clearly. Jesus did not just lose a follower, he was handed over by a friend. It was the intimacy of the relationship that made the betrayal so devastating. The closer the person is to us, the deeper the wound they can inflict. A stranger cannot betray us, only an acquaintance or a friend can. The betrayal cuts to our core because it comes from within our own camp, from someone we invited in, someone we shared our thoughts and dreams with. This is the essence of the sting, the poison that makes the wound so difficult to heal. Therefore, when we feel the sting of betrayal, we are feeling a very old and very human pain. We are connected to every person throughout history who has ever dared to trust and been hurt for it. It is important to acknowledge this pain, to allow ourselves to feel the weight of it without shame. We must understand that the hurt is not a sign of our weakness but a testament to our capacity to love and to trust. It shows that we were willing to be open and vulnerable. And while that vulnerability can lead to pain, it is also the source of our greatest strength and our deepest connections. The ancient garden of betrayal can feel surprisingly familiar. Sometimes that garden is not a place with olive trees and moonlight. Sometimes it has fluorescent lights and cubicle walls. The modern workplace can be a breeding ground for these moments of heartbreak. You work closely with a team, sharing projects, ideas, and even personal stories over coffee. You build what feels like a strong bond of camaraderie and trust. You believe you are all working towards a common goal, supporting each other along the way. You feel safe, you feel like you are part of something special, a team that has your back. Then, the kiss of betrayal comes. It might not be a literal kiss, but it feels just as personal. It could be the coworker who takes credit for your hard work during a big presentation. It could be the colleague who promised to support your proposal, but then criticizes it in front of the boss to make themselves look better. Or perhaps it is the team member who shares your confidential concerns with others, turning your moment of vulnerability into office gossip. Suddenly, the person you thought was your ally is revealed to be a rival, and the trust you so freely gave is gone. This kind of professional betrayal can be just as painful as a personal one. Our work is often a huge part of our identity. We invest so much of our time, energy, and passion into what we do. When someone undermines us in that space, it can feel like an attack on our competence, our character, and our future. The feelings of shock, anger, and sadness are very real. You may find yourself dreading going to work, feeling isolated and paranoid. The once friendly office environment can suddenly feel like a hostile territory where you do not know who you can trust. Just like in the Garden of Gethsemane, this betrayal often comes from someone within your circle. It is not the rival from another department you expected from. It is the person who sits in the next cubicle, the one you shared lunch with just yesterday. And like Judas, their motivation might be something as simple as ambition, jealousy, or insecurity, their own bag of silver coins. They choose to advance themselves at your expense. It is a painful reminder that even in the most professional settings, human hearts with all their complexities are at play, and it forces you to face a difficult choice about how you will respond. The story of the betrayal in the garden does not end with the kiss of Judas. In fact, that moment of darkness was the very thing that set in motion the greatest act of love and sacrifice the world has ever known. The betrayal was not the end of the story. It was the catalyst for Jesus' ultimate purpose. Without the betrayal, there would be no cross. Without the cross, there would be no resurrection. Without the resurrection, there would be no hope for any of us. The darkest moment was actually a setup for the most glorious victory. God took the worst act of humanity and turned it into the best gift for humanity. This powerful truth holds a lesson for you and me. When you face betrayal at work or in your personal life, it feels like an ending. It feels like a defeat. But what if it is not? What if, like in the story of Jesus, this moment of pain is actually a setup for you to shine? What if this challenge is an opportunity for you to discover a strength within you that you never knew you had? The betrayal does not have to define you. Your response to it, however, will. This is your moment to choose grace over bitterness, integrity over revenge, and courage over fear. Think about it. When someone tries to put out your light, it forces you to burn even brighter just to be seen. When a coworker betrays your trust, you have a chance to respond with unwavering professionalism and character. You can continue to do your work with excellence. You can refuse to engage in gossip or slander. You can treat that person with a civility that confuses them and inspires others. In doing so, you are not being weak. You are being incredibly strong. You are showing everyone around you what true integrity looks like. Your character becomes your testimony. Therefore, do not despair when you face your Judas. Do not let the darkness of their choice overcome the light within you. See it as a divine appointment, a test that has been placed in your path to reveal the depth of your own character. This is your Gethsemane moment. It is an invitation to rise above the pain and to show the world and yourself who you truly are. Let their betrayal be the backdrop against which your inner light shines its brightest. For it is often in our deepest hurts that we find our highest calling and our most profound strength. Your greatest victory may be waiting just on the other side of your deepest pain.